So we've accomplished a lot over the 4.5 years that I was Speaker. And whether it was the largest deficit reduction deal in the history of the country, saving $2.1 trillion, protecting 99% of the American people from an increase in our taxes, or the first major entitlement reforms in 20 years. All done over the last 4.5 years with a Democrat president, and all voted against by my most conservative members because it wasn't good enough. Really?
All right. See, that's where he loses me and probably a majority of conservatives and Republicans. Joining us now is Bob Barr, former U.S. Congressman from the great state of Georgia and former U.S. Attorney for Georgia. Hello, Congressman.
Steve, great to be with you all. It's an exciting time, and I appreciate you all having me on, as always.
Well, you wrote a great piece, and thank you for coming on. And I want to talk about it. You have a candidate for the next speaker, Newt Gingrich. First, let me ask you, that last, gratuitous, it wasn't good enough for the conservatives in my party, they're unrealistic, they're false prophets, and then he calls names of Ted Cruz and others. What is that? I mean, isn't that below a Speaker of the House?
It's below anybody who is and considers themselves to be a serious public servant. The fact of the matter is that it's easy to take shots when you're a lame duck, when you're leaving office, and calling those that wanted the Speaker to behave more like a real conservative constitutional Speaker names doesn't accomplish anything except tarnish your already tarnished reputation.
All right, now let's shift gear here. Compare him, I mean, John Boehner, let's leave aside the name calling and his disdain for conservatives in his party and talk about the accomplishments that he discussed and compare that to Newt Gingrich, who you believe would make a great speaker once again.
I think Newt would make a good speaker, and he was actually able to point to some real substantive accomplishments that would not have been accomplished without his work and without his intellect as speaker. Now, that is not to take anything away from those things that we did accomplish, those few things, during Speaker Boehner's tenure. We were able to get a number of important tax relief measures made permanent. But beyond that, there really is nothing that Speaker Boehner can point to with a straight face, that is, and say, because of my hard work, because of my ability to forge coalitions with conservatives and others to move a conservative agenda forward, these things would not have been accomplished. He just cannot say that truthfully. Newt Gingrich, on the other hand, can point to real accomplishments such as welfare reform, which has saved untold billions of dollars in families in the years since 1997 when that was passed. Newt also can claim that it was through his hard work and leadership that we were able to, for the first time in 40 years, truly balance the federal budget. And we were able to do that at the same time as we significantly cut capital gains taxes. And all of this was accomplished
with Bill Clinton.
With Bill Clinton in office, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, but now, of course, it's a dream of yours and a fantasy because Newt Gingrich isn't serving. So someone asked me in the newsroom earlier, could Newt Gingrich, could his name be submitted? And even though he's not a congressman, he could be the Speaker of the House? And I said, I don't think so.
Absolutely, he could. The Constitution does not require that the person who is elected Speaker of the House by the members of the House to actually be a member of Congress. And in a sense, this would free up Newt to focus solely on being Speaker, as opposed to splitting his allegiances and splitting his work between being the Speaker of the House of Representatives writ large and serving the more parochial interests of a congressional district.
Now, you're doing all this, and that's interesting. Well, what do you think the chances are of that happening? Have you reached out to any sitting members of Congress?
It's a long shot, and certainly it's not something that that I've really delved into yet. It did strike me immediately after John Boehner announced that he would be stepping down, that to avoid a lot of the internecine battles in the Republican Party, in order to elect a speaker that's really somebody that we haven't seen in that type of leadership position at a very crucial time, why not go back to a proven commodity, somebody that we know
Right.
has been there, has done it, and has the ability to do it, and that is Newt Gingrich.
And Jen, very briefly, he did not endorse you when you sought to return to the House in 2014. We got 30 seconds, and yet you're still urging that he become the Speaker.
This has nothing to do with whether somebody supports Bob Barr or not. It has everything to do with how can we truly move a conservative agenda forward in the remaining 2 years, basically.
Very interesting. Very interesting, Congressman. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you coming on, as always.
Thank you.
All right, Congressman Bob Barr, former congressman from the great state of Georgia. And yes, Virginia, you can be out of Congress and be Speaker of the House. We're coming back with more. Don't go away.